Hello everyone, this is Erin with Ariengabriella. How are you doing today? Make sure to subscribe and check out my website, ariengabriella.com, if you like my content. So let's jump in here. So I spent the last video talking to you guys about what the age of Aquarius was. So now I want to tackle the Great Awakening. And I swear, like, these two, like, trying to explain what these two things are is somehow like really a little bit difficult for me to get out. So I'm always referring to my notes so I kind of can keep my thoughts in order. So if I look down, that's what I'm doing. But the Great Awakening is a topic that I'm so excited to try to just jump into because it's just like a wide breadth of information and like there's so much metaphor as well. But I'll get to like some of the metaphors and the way that, you know, the different ways that you can kind of interpret, you know, the Great Awakening and the different aspects of the Great Awakening a little bit later. But really what I want to do is I want to give as broad of an overview as I possibly can about what the Great Awakening even is, you know, some of the things that we can expect during the Great Awakening, especially because we're going through the Great Awakening right now. You know, this kind of like lockdown phase is kind of like Earth's dark night of the soul, which is part of the Great Awakening. But I don't want to jump ahead, so let me just start at the beginning and do the best I can here. So what is a Great Awakening? So I consider, personally speaking, like the Great Awakening to be part of the Age of Aquarius. You can debate me on that, but if you didn't see my last video, the Age of Aquarius is the golden age, or the heaven on earth, or our nirvana manifesting in our reality for all of humanity. In order for that to happen, in order for you to have a world where you have 100% light, basically, well, you know, yeah, basically, yeah, it's happy, it's blissful, you know, there's no pain and suffering. In order for you to have that kind of world, like, you have to get rid of the darkness. And the earth that we live on right now, there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of just parasitic people, you know, aliens, energies, all around this earth, like feeding off the energy of human beings, because that's their food source. So what's happening through this Great Awakening that we're going through now is that Earth, divine goddess, because she is a divine goddess, and everyone who walks on her, every human that kind of walks on the planet with her, is going through this kind of mass ascension. So the Great Awakening is basically just when large masses of people, or the majority of people on the earth right now, including the planet Earth herself, because she is a living, breathing being, has they wake up fully and kind of come into their full ascension. So the Great Awakening is just the process of raising that vibration to a level of divine love and light by clearing out the darkness. So it's a very tough time. Like, it's not easy. It happens on an individual level. It happens on, you know, a societal level, like groups of people, entire nations, and even the entire world. They have their own collective consciousness, and they just go through different things at the same time. So right now we're in the middle of Earth's Great Awakening. It's been going on for a while, but now we are in like kind of the heat of it. We're at kind of this climax. And Earth is, I have her going through her dark night of the soul at this time. So the dark night of the soul is kind of a phase of the awakening process where you kind of have like an existential crisis. You kind of realize that I'm just talking on an individual level to make it more relatable, but you can extend this to Earth herself as well. That, you know, you don't really know really who you are or what you're about. You know that you've come to realize that everything that you've been taught isn't necessarily all true, and you're dealing with like the disillusionment and the confusion, and the fear that can come with basically being lied to. Because like anytime you're lied to, you're not, or manipulated, you're being shown the opposite of love. That's why I personally try not to lie, but you know, because it's just not a virtue. But that's neither here nor there. So during the dark night of the soul period, you can often feel alone, empty on the inside, scared, kind of depressed, you know, because you can't live a lie anymore. You want to live in your full truth, but you don't know what your full truth is. That can also, the dark night of the soul period can also lead to apathy, nihilism, and etc. because you really don't, you have to kind of figure out what your goals are again. You know, you have to figure out what you want to live for. What matters to you again, because it's like the stuff that you had built your foundation on up until that period was kind of just on sand and kind of dissolved in the face of like hardship or, you know, whatever the catalyst was for your eventual awakening process. So this sounds like really dark, but ultimately what you're doing when you go through this great awakening is you're shedding like your old skin and kind of coming out into this new life, you know? So kind of like a butterfly, like a beautiful butterfly. You have your, you know, you go into your cocoon, you come out as a butterfly. You go into your hibernation phase, you come out rested, whatever metaphor that you want. But it's definitely kind of the darkest before the dawn kind of stuff. So as far as the earth, she's going through that right now. She needs some time to herself. So energetically, like, I think that, you know, there's blessings in everything. I've said before that I think this kind of lockdown phase has a lot of amazing opportunities within it from a spiritual perspective. And I think Earth, it sounds like she's benefiting extremely well from that as well. Like I've heard news reports that pollution is down because humans aren't around to act like themselves. You know, a lot of the darker entities, you know, are stuck in their houses as well, so they can't be out causing havoc. It makes it easier for people like me who are very, you know, empathic and kind of psychic. I don't have to be around people who threaten to kind of drag me down, have to spend energy kind of like cleaning myself up. I go through the day and like it's beautiful and blissful, and it's easier for me to hold my high vibration because I'm not bothered by life. And it can absolutely be the same way for you as well, as long as you do not fall into fear and kind of take advantage of the gift that this is giving you, because ultimately it'll all work out. Because at the other side of this dark night of the soul is a higher understanding of oneself. It's like you have a foundation, and now your foundation is solid. Like, you know who you are, you know what you're about, you know what your passion is, and they are just sustainable, long-term, lifelong goals that align fully to your divine truth and mission, assuming that, you know, you do it correctly, even though there's technically no way to do it right. But yeah, so that was kind of the gist that I wanted to give you. So I talked more about the personal level than I did about Earth, because but in a way it's kind of very much the same thing, you know. Earth is changing, she's raising in vibration, she's trying to figure out what she will and will not tolerate on her land, and we're all kind of a part of that. And during this time there's going to be a lot of purging of darkness, and you know, you can't purge the darkness unless you face it, so be prepared for, you know, the skeletons to come out of the closet.